start punching into the ground. Use things under and foundations, add bearing and retaining wall footings under walls, create column types to be used as piers and pilasters, and place isolated footings under the column. I think we get there over like week 9 or 10, where we start working in this direction. When you first make the floor plan, the first thing you do is to draw on level 1 and create the floor plan. And then you start punching into the ground. You draw over your existing plan, and that in a foundation wall to create the bottom. So the floor plan, basic floor plan, is the generator of the other things. When we take our walls, we can specify the core center line and also check out the details that we'll get when we place it. And there's this, wherever the center line that shows up on the dashed line is where it's connecting to its other wall when it joins it. So both of these have to be in agreement to make a good connection. Property controls and shape handles for the walls. So you can drag a wall, you can change a wall's orientation with that. Sometimes you can place a wall that might be inside out. You might have the brick on the inside of the structure, which won't work. But AutoCAD might think you're doing that as a designer. So just like in our windows that we punched in and out, look for that smaller arrow that you can click and send back into the other direction. It gives you temporary dimensions, and you can even click into them and alter the dimensions, which will alter the wall itself, or you can pull the grips. That's another way you could design. You can actually move and pull different grips to create a different wall or a different wall height, and then it'll stick to that height, and it'll show up on the properties bar that you altered it and tell you what height it made. What are there? There's the basic wall is a generic 8-inch wall. Okay. There's also let's go to. Okay. So on the walls, there's a wall architecture of the different choices, and we can get more, but we usually get a basic kit. Okay. So if I really scroll down, I can see the extent. I have my basic. And it puts it on the bottom. So I have my basic, I have a retaining wall I can create. And what's the retaining wall going to do, right? It's going to be largely made out of concrete, so it's going to automatically have those characteristics. Let's click on it, see the property value. Okay, it's got the nice hatch for the wall. Let's go back to walls. Okay, and then we'll also be working with interior walls, and they come out as nominal dimensions, but they really are dimensions to the accuracy level that you need to make an order or take a cost takeoff for it. There's also curtain walls. Okay, and the curtain walls you can add your glazing to. You can work in different ways and add more texture to it. Storefront walls. Okay, so if you just want something thin, has a nice window mullions on it, and you can also adjust these. Okay. So play around, explore the different walls that are offered. I just saw one very interesting here. Here is clapboard on wood stud. So even a basic residential wall is here. Okay, modify, click onto it, see what you get, right? You can see what you get. If you want to go further details, you can click on it. We'll go to edit type, and then we get that nice picture of what we're looking at. We see that it also has the interior. It's got Oh, you even have fire ratings coming up here. Okay, although it's not filled in right now. So that's going to help us with building codes. The width is 7 3/8 inches for the entire thing. And then we can also see more of what is actually contained within that wall. So this is on many levels, right? This is all getting into our materials class. So that's pretty cool too, because then we can actually start to say, how do you build this sandwich layer of a perfect wall? Well, it's right here, right? You can come in and you can alter the different kinds, and you have to know what you're doing, right? Because you can mess up a perfect wall. You can alter a lot of these things. I can use plywood sheathing, but then again, I could use plastic, right? If it could be a new material, but I don't want to mess up a basic. So this is a family. These walls are one family. And if you want to do something new, you have to create a whole different name for this wall so you don't mess up your original family that you came in with. So when you apply this, you're creating a new. So you have to make a duplicate, rename it to say what it is. But that's all in the future, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm just giving you a quick tour of more of the things in this panel. Let's go back. Okay. Okay, so controlling the wall joints. Right here, sometimes you'll show up and it'll say that your wall is not continuous, and sometimes you have to join them. Sometimes you have to disallow a joint. And walls not joined are usually when you have two different materials walls anchoring each other, and this might be tied together with clips, so it's a different kind of wall. You can create a thing called wall openings. So instead, like you don't want a door, but you want an archway inside a house, or you want this walkway that people can pass through. You can choose open wall instead of door or window. And what's cool about the footings is you also get the wall, and then you'll also get the footing. So that's chapter 7. We'll be working with this. And then place at the base of existing walls. So you trace over your existing wall. Too much information for now, so I won't cover it. But then you also get the profile. You also get the underground portion of the floor when you complete the wall footing. We'll show you how to put in these markers that indicate where structure will go. This is a commercial facility, so you would have commercial structural grids. And these grids are used by the structural engineers to locate specific members that they want to examine and make sure that these are the parts that are holding up the building whenever they connect on a structure. Important pieces that we talk about in architecture are the columns, and what kind of columns: steel, concrete, and then we can also change the values of those. And next week we'll practice making piers and pilasters. I have to get a project that has these parts so we can work with them. And you can also add footings. You can always add to your existing drawing. Once you have the wall, you can add parts to it. You can create a custom footing, like here. This is trying to step down on layers of earth. And so they've created this notch and they've added this to the design. And you can add footings, which are an important detail for a house that might be built on columns. And that is the end of this. Okay.